This is the cover sheet for the copyright claim. This is low key at the center of it. And the reason being is right up above me where it says copyright registration number, where it's NA, because there is no copyright. So, the title of the work is Contributions to the Functionality of the Nopixel Server. Lastly, we left off when we had Koil responding saying that the lawsuit should get tossed out because it's a copyright claim and not a true lawsuit. This is Tove's response that was filed on 7/31, which is a couple days ago. They have a hearing date scheduled for the 21st at 1:30. So this is the plaintiff's, which is Tove's, opposition to the defendant's notice of motion and motion to dismiss plaintiff's first amended complaint. Okay. And you have the memorandum of John B., which is Tove's lawyer. All right, so let's get to it. Now, as you know, if I skip something, it's because it's not important. This is Tove, and they hereby submit this opposition to the motion to dismiss Tove's first amended complaint. Here's the introduction. And it gets a little spicy. It gets a little spicy. Where Tove is saying, hey, the defendants now disingenuously move the goalpost to claim that Tove's properly alleged first cause of action for declaratory relief is just a copyright infringement claim in disguise. It actually looks like a copyright claim because they asked them to stop using DW's property. What you need to take away from this whole summary right here is Tove wants to move forward with the lawsuit and Koil wants to dismiss it. And this is pretty standard operations. They're going to go through the relevant allegations, which is just a summary of the complaint. What you need to know is DW works for Tove and he's on the visa. This is stuff we know. Nopixel is a successful company that contracted Tove via hiring DW. That DW worked for Koil and they had a personal dispute. It's crazy that you get all these paragraphs where they say everything. Now look, here's a great summary of what happened if you've just been following. All right, so here's the summary. They filed on April 10th. On May 12th, they served Koil. June 14th, Koil filed his first motion to dismiss. They're merely seeking an advisory opinion as to whether it's entitled to a joint ownership. Remember, Tove is saying they own half of Nopixel, guys. They're saying they own half. First amended complaint now specifically alleges in response that the actual controversy regarding Tove's claim to ownership arose from the defendants. They thought everyone was in agreement and they really were not. They were not in agreement about who owned it. Now, here we go. They're about to start taking some shots. After Tove filed the first amended complaint, the court deemed the defendant's first motion to dismiss moot and vacated the hearing, which they did. After that first amended complaint, Koil's motion to dismiss was deemed moot. Defendants, however, were predictably unsatisfied with Tove's amendments, moving the conceptual goalpost to claim that Tove's first cause of action is now actually a claim for copyright. And they're basically hanging on to a couple words from the first amended complaint to say, hey, you're suing us for copyright infringement, not declaratory relief. And they're going to acknowledge this in their post. Okay, let's keep going down. Legal standard. Here we go. All the highlighted stuff is important. This is the first and I believe last court case that we're going to read. All right, so this is all new, guys. To survive a motion to dismiss the complaint or counterclaim, you must contain sufficient factual matter accepted as true. So basically you have to believe everything is true to state a claim to relief that is plausible on its face. All right. This requires only a short and plain statement of the claim showing that the pleader is entitled to relief in order to give the defendant fair notice of what the claim is and grounds upon which rests. I hope this is not going over your head. I'm going to explain it very soon. A complaint must contain sufficient factual matter accepted as true to state a claim that relief is plausible. All right, so what do we know is true? We know it's true that DW worked for Koil, but ownership is clear as mud for me. This whole ownership, it's literally their word versus his. Argument. This is the plaintiff's claim for declaratory relief as to ownership. So now they're saying, hey, we can argue ownership because joint authors are co-owners to the copyright with an equal, undivided interest in the work as a whole. And determining ownership is essential to establishing whether a co-owner is therefore entitled to an accounting of any profits received by the co-owner. Remember, Tove wants accounting. They want to see how much money Nopixel made. It's also well established that a plaintiff can seek declaratory relief regarding ownership in a joint work without such a claim automatically becoming a copyright infringement. So now we have two opposing case laws, guys. So whose case law is going to hold up, right? And you're like, well, if you don't remember, what's the two different opposing case laws? No copyright, no lawsuit. That is Koil's standpoint. Or copyright not needed for a lawsuit. This is Tove's standpoint. So, the claim for declaratory relief regarding co-ownership status, that's what they're trying to argue, that we don't need a copyright to claim ownership, which is sus to me. And the court recognized that the declaratory relief claim was not a copyright infringement claim in disguise. And this is that court case noting that the gravamen of a authorship's claim is a creation rather than infringement. Now, Turf's first cause of action only seeks a determination as to its ownership in Mr. Tracy's contributions to the creation and development of Nopixel server, which would entitle Tove to an accounting against defendants. So now, look, this is all going to be up to the judge. Will the judge be like, okay, Tove, you want accounting? We'll make them do accounting. Or Koil is like, toss this shit out. Despite the established conceptual difference, defendants conflate Tove's claim for declaratory relief regarding ownership with a claim for infringement in a transparent attempt to avoid any consideration of Tove's claim to co-ownership of the Nopixel server. People try to downplay this, but this is serious, guys. This is major. If they win this, the ownership will be divided significantly. Okay, but I'll give you my thoughts as we keep going. Tove intends to use the court's anticipated determination of co-ownership as the basis for its third cause of action for accounting. And the defendants therefore know that they will be exposed to significant financial liability via such accounting claim if Tove's first cause of action is permanent to proceed. Defendants claim to possession of perpetual free license to non-exclusively use Mr. Tracy's contributions to the development of the Nopixel server stands in the way of Tove's claim of ownership and account. So here's the thing, guys. What is missing? DW agreeing to the license agreement. This is missing right here. It's missing for me. Where's the agreement? Now, all this stuff that's not highlighted is nothing too important to read, including whether or not a permanent on an irrevocable license for defendants to continue exploiting otherwise utilizing such contributions was ever granted. So it's so many controversies. But here's the thing. Neither side can prove anything because nothing is written down. Not one thing is written down. Not one terms of service or anything. They want accounting. They consistently push for accounting, and the audit would be crazy. We would, like, if they got audited, we could potentially see how much Nopixel is generating if it gets put in this public record. And then I'll be like, we can see how much Koil is getting. We can see how much they're paying their developers. You do not want this out there, okay? At all. All right. Facts outside the pleading, especially a confidential. Now, look, this is very funny, guys, and I find it ironic. Okay, this is the facts outside the pleading, especially a confidential settlement communication, are inappropriate to consider at the motion to dismiss stage. Remember, Koil just was like, okay, y'all want to play with me? All right, we will release the, read this statement right here. Additionally, a statement made during the compromise negotiations about a claim are not admissible to prove or disprove validity of the disputed claim. Now, Tove argued for this, but now they want it thrown out for both sides. Remember when Tove was like, hey, we had this secret meeting, they said we owned it. Now they like, we kind of want that thrown out. You like, wait, you put it in yours that they said that they owned it, and then they came back and said, no, we never said that, and they showed the email logs, and now you like, okay, we want that shit thrown out. Crazy. So that was the confidential settlement letter that I showed on stream, which everyone can see. This, if we avoid this, we can stop this costly and protracted litigation. Here's the thing. Lawyers are winning. Lawyers are eating good off this shit. Believe it or not, they're eating good. What else? Now, Tove is saying, hey, they want them emails thrown out. They want that shit thrown out. And now they're saying, hey, we need a leave to amend must be granted. You already amended your complaint. And I'm not picking sides, but I'm just stating the facts. Tove already amended their complaint. And now they want to submit a new complaint. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not a good look for Tove. Not a good look. And they're saying, hey, the standard for granting leave is to amend is generous. Okay. And, as the court considers 5 factors in assessing the propriety of leave to amend: bad faith, undue delay, prejudice to the opposing party, futility of amendment, and whether the plaintiff has previously amended the complaint. Well, they already amended the goddamn complaint. They already did. It is crazy. So they're saying, hey, look, therefore, if the court believes that such language unintentionally changes the character of Tove's first cause of action for declaratory relief and turns it into a de facto cause of action for infringement, then granting Tove a leave to remove such language would not be futile. So now they want to remove the whole do not use our proprietary work to get it out of being a copyright claim. So here's the questions I have for both sides. But Tove said that Koil was still using DW's work and they wanted them to stop. They want to remove that from the lawsuit. And that which leans to a copyright infringement, as you say, Koil has no license. Also, when does the license or Koil's usage of DW's work expire? What are the terms? Also, when did Koil say DW would get half of the company and all of the revenue? What are the terms? How was the conversation? That's what I really want to know. And guys, what questions do you have for either party, and who do you support, Koil or DW? But yes, Sam, to be fair, it looks like Tove is backtracking. In conclusion, this is true. Now, remember when Tove's lawyer or DW's lawyer was like, look, we tried to do a conference with him and John B said F off? He responded to that. He did a whole statement, and this is his new statement. Basically, he says, hey, I represent the lawyers. I represent Tove. And look, and here's going to talk about the issues. Most of the issues that they had were based on differing view of the facts. Okay. However, I thought I understood Mr. Zerner to be contending that the complaint should be dismissed because Tove's claim for declaratory relief was unnecessary since defendants did not dispute Tove's joint ownership to the Nopixel server. Okay, so that's when he was like, in other words, I thought Mr. Zerner to be contending the defendants intended to wave the white flag. Remember, like, no, they said we owned half. And I was like, did they? And then Zerner was like, man, he was like, nope, no, hell no, we never said that. Instead, however, defendant's motion simply states that Tove's claim for declaratory relief should be dismissed because Tove has not alleged the existence of an actual immediate controversy over Tove's claim for joint ownership. He sent them an email setting forth the perceived deficiencies with the first amended complaint. This correspondence claimed that Tove's first cause of action for declaratory relief was actually a claim for infringement in disguise, which it was, guys. It was clear as day. And I'm not picking sides, but he did say they were using DW's intellectual property and they wanted them to stop. Okay. However, this email included no authority on this point, and I viewed it as a fairly disingenuous position for that reason. And because it was asserted that after that Tove just complied in good faith with Mr. Zerner's last round of concerns, it made the presence of existing dispute much more clear. Now, we're going to go down to right here where he said, hey, Mr. Zerner's response there too, that my response to him was somehow not a sufficient meat to confer. Look, lawyers have to meet, okay? Under some certain Rule 72, but was also simply a transparent effort. They're saying Koil's lawyer was trying to bully Tove's lawyer into having another unproductive telephone conversation with him over the facts of the case and addressing Mr. Zerner's email. I simply elected not to waste my time. Now, here's some more questions, guys. Here's some more questions. Because this is so clear as mud, and if you following me, you're like, what the hell's going on? I agree with John. It would be a waste of time because both parties' minds are made up, so they're never going to agree. Tove argues that they own half of Nopixel. Koil argues Tove owns nothing and Koil has a perpetual license to all of DW's work. Nothing is written down, no real proof either side of any terms or conditions or agreement. Why did Koil stop paying? How much was the license? DW was promised 50% ownership for how much work exactly? Who do you believe? Let me know in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next Nopixel update. This case is crazy. It's just a lot of mud going back and forth, but let me know, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.